On today's show, all the adjustments, every adjustments, get adjusted to our adjustments. We're ready for game 5.
Nick has some new toys on the soundboard, so we're ready to grade your adjustments.
It's the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
I'm Luka Doncic, and this is Locked On Mavericks podcast.
Dallas Mavericks are NBA champions. Bang! Bang! It's good! And the Mavericks have won the game!
If you don't believe, you shouldn't be here.
And welcome. You are locked on to the Dallas Mavericks. My name is Nick Angstadt, media member and coordinator for the Locked On Podcast Network. And joining me, as always, my co-host, contributor at Mavs.com. The Game 5 fiend, the one more thinking. What you got for me, Isaac Harris?
Big game tonight. Must-win game tonight.
Uh-oh, guess what day it is?
It honestly feels like it is a must-win game to me. It is.
I was joking. I feel like every playoff game is a must-win, but no,
I didn't feel like game 3 was, but this one, if there's a hierarchy, like a level of
guess what day it is?
like must-win games, I feel like this one is very high because there's a big difference between up 3-2 and down 2-3.
Yeah, massive. And I think for a lot of people, even not just like national media, but I think even in Mav circles and fans, it's like, man, it's totally flipped, right? 6 minutes into the first quarter of game 3.
Oh, it was over. The series was done. Nail in the coffin, man.
Yeah, it's like it was funny. I listened to we talked about Bill Simmons earlier, and yesterday he's like, at that point he said, I would have bet anything and everything of my possessions that that series is over. And it's crazy how we might look back on that moment. But I'll say this because the Clippers, obviously won both games in Dallas. And I feel like that whole, the whole tide is fully shifted back. And we
100%.
saw Charles Barkley, everybody's sharing that clip and everything. It's like everybody's just like, Mavericks are dead in the water. It's done. It's over. So we'll see. And Rick Carlisle talked to the media yesterday and gave a slight update on Luka, just saying that he is doing better. He wouldn't put a percentage on it, anything like that. So at least it's positivity that Luka's improving, even though he's not going to be 100%.
He's not going to be 100%, but you know what is going to be 100%?
What is?
100% chance of me drinking some Michelob Ultra during game 5 to get through it. Today's episode is brought to you by Michelob Ultra at only 2.6 carbs, 95 calories. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Stay tuned for the Ultra Player of the Week coming later in the episode.
Does that mean I don't get to do my part?
No, you do later.
Okay.
That's a title sponsor. Do we have to get into this?
It's like, that's a lot of Michelob.
There's going to be a lot of Michelob today, and 100% chance of me drinking some Michelob during the game just to get through.
They sent a truck to Nick's house and dropped off.
On today's show, we are going to break down your suggestions for Rick Carlisle's adjustments. We're going to give it a ding or a yes or a no on the adjustments, whether we think they'll work, whether we think they'll happen. Depends on which one we'll go back and forth on, but yeah, we put this out on Twitter at Locked On Mavs. Go follow us. Getting close to 6,000 followers. Shout out to all of you guys that are following us there. And sorry, we don't follow back. The following number has to stay sacred. But we'll definitely interact with you on there. But let's just start off with it. Give me your first adjustment that a listener sent in you think the Mavs should do.
Yeah, so we sent out a tweet and we had some replies to it. So we're going to read off some replies. And Jordan said, "Have Boban sit on Kawhi."
Sit on him, like straight up sit on him?
Yep.
I'm in.
I'm in. I think the pod's over. Peace out. That's it. That's all we needed, right? I mean, maybe that's what Rick was going for by putting Boban in. That actually was his adjustment, and Jordan just has an inside source.
To have him literally sit on him.
Say, Boban, go sit on Kawhi.
All right, here's a real one. Noah says, I think we got to go small and put Kleba at the 5. Either that or play Powell and see if his rolls to the rim in the pick and roll can punish the Clippers for playing small. All right, this is the question. Why have the Mavericks not gone small? And is Kleba at the 5 and Mavs playing small? Is that the answer? Should I give it a ding or a eh?
I think it's a ding. Yeah. No, this is the adjustment that I think we're all waiting for. It's what I thought would happen, if it's not going to happen in game 3, whenever they came back and all of that, I thought it would have happened in game 4. There's just a lot of layers to, not playing Kristaps Porzingis. We know that. And it's like, not only, is he your second star player making 30 million? We know all of that, but whatever your plans are for him moving forward, it's kind of difficult, right? Like it's not as simple as you just bench him and it's over. It's okay. Well, if he's not part of your future, then you need him to be playing like that. Like his value is already super low. And for you to just straight up bench him and say, hey, we're not going to play him in the 4th. And it's so evident that you're not playing him, then whatever value, whatever that bar is at, which isn't very high for a lot of people, it's going to be even lower. But it's just, there's a lot that goes in that conversation. But I honestly think the series could come down to if Porzingis is playing in the 4th or not.
Hey, Sacramento, Charlotte, New Orleans, Chicago, all of you, Indiana. How would you like our star player that can't play in this playoff series?
Well,
right? Like,
yeah,
it just doesn't work, right?
If he's not. But another thing is, if you do plan on him being part of your future after this year, you don't plan on trading him, all that stuff, and you're like, no, he's still part of our future. Can you really say he's part of your future if you're going to bench him in the 4th? So it's like, it's so hard that it's a tough decision that they have to figure out. And
okay, so if there's no feelings involved,
well, it's beyond feelings. It's kind of like,
there's no feelings or repercussions, the best basketball thing for the Mavericks to do would be what?
Best basketball is to bench him in the 4th and to go small. I would even take it a step further. And this is Jonathan Charks in my ear during the game saying Dorian Finney-Smith at the 5. Like, go, keep on going. It's funny how we could have this series starting with Zubac and Porzingis in the 4th playing, meaningful playoff basketball game 1. This series could very well end with Marcus Morris and Dorian Finney-Smith playing 5.
Yeah.
It's like, you go small. Well, now I'm going to go small. It's like this challenge of who's going to go smaller in the game. I hope that's what it comes down to, because I think that is the path for Dallas to get back into it.
The thing is, the Mavericks haven't done that all season. All season they haven't done that, right? I don't know how many times we've seen them go that small, and you kind of have to get some reps in. At least for a team like this, a young Mavericks team that plays a certain way, always has a roller on the floor, all that kind of stuff. I think
when I was just saying this, it's like some people might be listening and say, well, why? Like, why do you go small? You go small so you can switch. You go small so you can rotate. You go small so you can double Kawhi on the block, and then you're still fast enough. You go small because Rick Carlisle, like he said in his media session yesterday, saying Kawhi Leonard had 18 transition points in game 4. It's like, all right, well, you got to be able to get up and run. You got to be active with it. So that's why you go small. And if you go small and Ty Lue's like, all right, we're going to punish him with Zubac. We're going to good, please. I would much rather have the battle of Zubac down low posting up and Luka torching him on a switch on the other end. Yeah. Give me that all day, and I will take that air quote mismatch from Ty Lue's side of saying, let's put Zubac in against Dorian Finney-Smith. Give me that all day.
The other thing is, the reason why you put tall people in into play basketball is to defend the rim and to score around the rim, and the Mavericks bigs are doing none of those things. So what are you losing if you go small, right? Like, you're not losing any rim protection because you're not getting any anyway. The spacing is going to be the same to me, right? Like, you're really not losing anything if you go that way and if you go small. That's the reason why. So that's why it's a ding there. All right, coming up, a bunch more adjustments. We got people asking for Josh Green. We got people asking about KP. People that wanting to go huge with some of these lineups. So we'll get into some of that, and then a couple of fun ones. We'll get into that. But before we do, we got to talk about the Michelob Ultra Player of the Week. Michelob Ultra, it's only worth it if you enjoy it. 2.6 carb, 95 calories, like we've said. This week, if you take it the literal week, you go. Let's say you go. Today is Wednesday, so we'll go Wednesday to Wednesday. The Mavericks are 0-2. in this week, if you want to go back. Luka is always a nomination. I think Boban has to be a nomination just for the one game that he played and showed up.
And,
was actually
and
good.
Getting the ball
down in game 4. Man, it's like, listen to the points per game in these last 2 games. So if you take it the literal week, the literal last week, 31.5 points a game for Luka, 13.5 a game for Porzingis. 12 for Boban, 10.5 for Brunson, 8 for Hardaway, 7 for Dorian, 7 for Maxey, 4.5 for Richardson. Like, that's why the Mavericks are losing games, right?
Yeah.
You want to talk about why the Mavs lost these 2 games. Luka's the only one that scored more than 14 points.
Yeah. I still think Luka has to be the player of the week, though.
I mean, he's the player of the century. He's the player of potentially my career, right? Like, we can't mince words about it. Yeah, he has to be. He's the player of the week. He's been incredible. The injury has been brutal in Game 4, but Game 3 he was still really, really good. Put up 44. He was just incredible in that game, even while dealing with that injury. Then Game 4, obviously not as good, but nobody was good. So I'm not giving it to anybody. I'm not giving it player of the week to anybody else. There you go. Joy creates success. Enjoyment isn't the end game. It's the whole game. That's why we get in on the action with Michelob Ultra. Go get you some Michelob Ultra. All right, Isaac Harris, let's get into some more adjustments. Give me another one.
Oh, well, one of them you mentioned kind of in your last one we just didn't touch on, but I'll tie it into also Z Mavs and then a lot of numbers on Twitter who says, I can't believe I'm saying, but I'm playing Dwight Powell with Luka. Give me the elite rim roller next to Luka. The thing with Dwight is, well, one, I wrote this huge story on Dwight and then bam, he doesn't even play. So I was kind of bummed about that, but it still rings true. So go read my story on Mavs.com. But for Dwight, I actually would like to see a few minutes with him just to see if it can work, just to see. The problem is when you get Dwight going down that path, when you have a rim roller against a team that's going small, you get him going down that road. And speaking of road, today on the road to the finals, our NBA playoffs or finals coverage is brought to you by Michelob Ultra. It's the only worth it if you enjoy it at 2.6 carbs and 95 calories. We can all enjoy the games a little bit more this season. Dwight, when he's going down that path, he's going down the road to the rim. It does. I feel like it could open, at least gives a different look to the offense. And that's why
that they don't have.
Yeah, when the offense looks stagnant, I at least want them to try it. It's just when teams are switching like that, it's not a long-term thing. Kind of like the Boban thing of like throw it in there and see if it works for a little bit. But I at least want them to try Dwight a little bit.
And he can defend Batum, right? Or somebody.
Yeah. I still think the answer is going small, but I would play Dwight over Willie at this point right now.
Yeah, I think I would too. Because he can defend in space a little bit better, which is kind of what you want. So yeah, we'll give a ding for that one for Dwight Powell.
Yeah.
All right, here's one from Braze. Call Steven Silas and ask him what he did last year. Is the offense that different than what it was last year? Because I don't think it is.
Yeah, I'm not looking at all of this and being like, Steven Silas, man. If we had Steven Silas, that would. I'm not saying I love Steven. I love Silas, but I don't think he's the reason why they're down 0-2 right now.
No. And would he have more answers than Carlisle and Mosley and DA and all them?
More answers. I mean, possibly. Maybe, but when it boils down to it, it's going to be the Luka show. And then it's like what you said a lot. It's more personnel stuff. And there's only so much you can do and so much flow offense you can run with these guys. And it's just kind of part of it right now.
Yeah. The flow, it's like the chakras, right? You got to let it flow through. And if there's stuff, getting it up. All right. Here's an automatic ding.
Oh, ready.
From J-Raj.
Score
more points than the Clippers. I'm in.
Ding,
that one's
ding.
a good one.
Solid.
That's a good adjustment.
How'd you think that one?
Here's an automatic no and potentially even worse. JJ Redick. That one gets the Mavrello laugh because JJ Redick's out for the series. So.
He's at least there, which I was kind of surprised. I thought he'd be like in Brooklyn with the fam, and he's there on the sideline.
He's a team player, man. Like the way he talks about the Mavs on his podcast has been pretty encouraging.
Professional dude. Yeah, go listen to the Hardaway Brunson pods and all that.
Yeah, that was great. Both of them.
Dustin says creativity on defense. Okay.
Sure.
Start out in zone. Put Josh Green on Kawhi. No, don't ding that. Keep switching things up. Also, don't force KP. Ding. Let Luka run things and just go with the hot hand. Yes, ding. The Josh Green conversation.
Yeah. It's the same as all year.
Yeah, well, it's kind of like the Dwight Powell thing for me of just throw him in there for a little bit just to see. Like, if you're like the other night, that's when I was like, let's just throw Josh Green in there. When both of those guys are torching the other guys.
Yeah.
I mean, just flat out torching. Just at least throw him in there. If he gets fouls, who cares? They're scoring at will. So it's at least
scoring
like,
anyway.
That's why I'm saying, like, at least try it out. I do not think Josh Green's the answer. I don't think the answer is Josh Green, 30 minutes, matching, rotation with Paul George. I don't think it's that. And sorry if I burst your bubble if you're Josh Green stan, but
here's one for Liam. More minutes for Brunson and Jay Rich. Jay Rich guards PG more and sprinkle in some zone D. No minutes for Burke or Melly. Josh Richardson, the reason why they can't play him is because
I will ding that.
You will ding the Josh Richardson.
I will ding that. Yeah. No minutes for Melly and Burke, and I think Brunson and Josh need more minutes. Josh Richardson.
The reason why they can't play Josh Richardson, though, is he's a disaster on offense.
I would try him out on Paul George more. Yeah.
Okay.
And I would try. The whole thing with going small is you got to play some of these guys. Like when we say go small, you're probably looking at a Maxey, Dorian, Tim, Josh, and Luka. Or it's Brunson. I personally want to see more Brunson and Luka minutes together.
Yeah.
I want to see that more. And then, then you just go from there. As far if they put Dorian, then it's like Dorian at the 5, Dorian, Tim, Josh, Brunson, Luka. Luka's the tallest player on the floor at that point. Which is kind of crazy to think about. I mean, it's him and Dorian, but still, like that's a type of stuff that I want to see at least tried, come tonight.
I mean, playing Maxey, like what's the difference between Maxey and Batum? Like, when you play with just Maxey as your 5, that's kind of a small ball lineup, right? He's like an inch taller than him, right?
and I'm honestly afraid that, because if you have Dorian at the 5, you're still going to have Dorian on one of those guys, like Paul George or Kawhi.
Yeah.
I'm honestly scared that if you put like Josh or Brunson like on Batum's just going to post him up. Like, Batum, that's what Batum did.
Or Morris.
Yeah. So that's but at least try it. That's what.
At least try it.
Which one did you just do a while ago? Okay. I got a buzzer for you. Miha, sure. Says go twin tower and defend with a good stretch offensive rebounds, and zone and defense. He even gives the lineup Bobby, KP, Dorian, Tim, and Luka. Sorry, Boban and KP front court, in my opinion, is not the answer right now, and I would love to be proven wrong, but I just don't think it is.
Yeah, that works against a team like remember where they played that lineup against the Cavs and it dominated? It's because it's really good against young guards that don't know what they're doing. It's not good against a team like this where there's 2 guys that know what they're doing more than anyone else on your team, except for Luka.
Also in the Boban minutes, you saw it. I think it was like the second possession Boban was in on offense. And the key to it is like you got to have people who can throw the entry pass, right? And Dorian had a turnover because he was trying to force it down to him. And in a way, it's like, all right, it's kind of similar to KP. It kind of throws you off your whole offensive grind because you just want to get it down low, except Boban's a little bit more, efficient in post. And he's big enough to get position.
This is one of the reasons why we've been asking for a secondary creator, a Conley, a Lowry, somebody like that, because they can do that. They can send that entry pass. They can set up KP in those ways. And so it'd be one more guy that could set KP up. If KP is going to be on the team long term, got to figure out how to use him, right? Can't just keep pushing him to the side because he just can't get his own offense, which he can't. So get another one of those guards. Conley would be incredible because he's played with, Marc Gasol when he was playing really, really well. And
watch the Jazz. Like, watch the Jazz and seeing Conley and Mitchell play together. And it's like, oh, 2 creators. And seeing Mitchell play off Conley, like in a way, it'd be kind of similar,
Or Harden and Kyrie, right?
Yeah. CJ and Dame. And
so many different ways. All right. Coming up, we'll get into some more questions, more adjustments. But before we do not fast forward, because right now, Isaac and I Gotta tell you about Built Bar. It's a protein bar. It tastes like a candy bar. I have in my hand, I'm showing it on YouTube right now. If you guys can read this.
It says grasshopper cookie. That's a new flavor. They just sent us in the mail.
Just got this in the mail today. Grasshopper cookie. It says zero guilt, which it's zero guilt if you don't care about grasshoppers at all. So
I don't think I'm feeling guilty about anything.
All right, we're gonna taste this grasshopper cookie bar. It has grasshopper pieces in it.
Oh, really?
It says grasshopper. Unless is grasshopper a type of cookie? I'm thinking it has real grasshopper in it.
Do our sponsors see our YouTube videos?
They should.
No, they don't.
We're eating.
This is great. For all our podcast listeners, this is great.
Great audio content hearing Isaac and I chew this Built Bar. It actually tastes really good, though. I love this. It tastes like a Thin Mint. Don't you love it too, Isaac?
This is one of the best flavors that they've ever put out. When they do a March Madness bracket next year, I'm voting for this.
Go to BuiltBar.com. Use the promo code LOCKED15. There are flavors Isaac Harris actually does like.
This is great.
15% off at BuiltBar.com. Use the promo code LOCKED15. Also, when you talk about BetOnline.ag, the Dallas Mavericks are still on there. They are not the favorites in the series against the LA Clippers, but there's so many other things you can bet on. Your Texas Rangers, you can bet on some WNBA, all kinds of stuff. Mavericks, it's a little bit less. The Clippers were minus 405 yesterday, and today they're minus 400 for the series, so that one's interesting. The Jazz, minus 15,000 for the series. That one is nuts. The Sixers aren't even that big of favorites. That one is pretty wild. Let's see if they have the Mavericks' actual game. The Mavericks are 6.5 point underdog in Game 5. So Marcus Morris put out the tweet that, oh, we love being the underdogs. Guess what? They've been favored in every single game. So I don't think you're the underdogs. Yeah. Anyway, go to betonline.ag. Use the promo code LOCKEDON. Get a 50% welcome bonus to first deposit. BetOnline, your online sportsbook experts. All right, Isaac Harris. Let's get into some more of these adjustments. Here's one from Jennifer. Automatic ding. Better shots, way better defense.
Let's go. I'm trying.
I'm on board with that.
They're trying, Jennifer.
Do you think the shots in Game 4 were that bad, or did the Mavericks just miss shots?
I think that. Yeah. Oh, I think it was a combination thing, but I think they could have definitely hit the shots. Like, I don't. Yeah, the Clippers played better defense, 100% for sure. But they still just missed their shots. I mean, one of the replies today is like, hey, the Mavericks got to shoot better than 16% from three. 100%. Yeah. They have to shoot better than that.
Here's one from Othie. Move Tim back to the bench and start Josh again for defensive purposes and play Josh Green more.
The Josh Green thing part threw me off there at the end.
All right, just the first part. Move Hardaway back to the bench and start Richardson.
I mean, heck, try it. Maybe.
You're in on it.
It's hard just because it's just wild because those first two games, Tim was great. And now we've seen the last two games. And when Tim is just not shooting, you're like, dang, like it's hard to.
There's nothing. I mean, he's not bringing anything to the table if he's not hitting shots. It's kind of, I mean.
So which is better right now, Tim at defense or Josh at offense?
Which the Mavericks need Tim's offense more than they need Richardson's defense.
Yeah.
Right? Because if they don't play incredible, outstanding, next level offense, they don't win.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we're just being real. A lot of it just hinges on Luka.
Right. I mean, like all this stuff is not talking about Luka at all.
Yeah. I mean, Luka has to have, just how the roster's made up. Luka just has to be incredible. And when Luka's not incredible for this team, and I'm saying like a 40-point game, near 40-point triple-double, the way this roster's made out, like you just have to strike gold that if he's at 70% and he's scoring 22 points, then you just have to strike gold and close your eyes and say, let's hope that Tim and KP and Brunson all score 18 plus and say, hey, cool.
From Kobayashi, tell Luka to step back and shoot free throws from the 3-point line. You know what? Dwight Howard actually does this. He steps back. He steps like a foot back from the free throw line. It kind of helped him. Should Luka look into that? What do you think is up with Luka and free throws?
I honestly don't know. I don't want to do the cop out of like his injury stuff. Some people are saying, hey, the injury is affecting the free. I mean, the injury is affecting everything because of where it's located. But I mean, Luka has never been, a lockdown, free throw shooter. I'm kind of bummed for him because it did feel like he got better at it this year, and especially in the clutch, I felt like he was better at it in the clutch this year.
We didn't really complain about it all year.
Yeah, and in the playoffs, he hasn't been hitting them, and so I'm kind of bummed for him with that. But
Christopher says, have guys in that aren't afraid to shoot. That would be nice.
Yeah, they had a couple possessions in the second half, in game 4 where a little too many passes, and it's like, yeah, they couldn't see a ball go through the hoops, so they just kept on passing it. This guy says hire the mob to kidnap Kawhi.
I'm in. Which mob? Doesn't matter.
Honestly, what I say, I know we joked about this the other day, but like Kawhi's been so good.
He should be our player of the week, to be honest.
I mean, it's when you look at, I know we said this the other day, I'm going to say it again. Before the series started, we did a whole segment on why the Clippers would win the series. We did a segment on why the Mavericks win the series. And one of the first things we said, if the Clippers win the series, it means Kawhi reestablishes himself as the top 3 player in the league. And right now, he's doing that. It's like, if you did that conversation right now, you're like, all right, I mean, KD, LeBron, Kawhi. I mean, that's just where my mind goes. It's like top 3 players because he is playing better defense. But, man, he's shooting – like, this dude's shooting 61%. It's over 60. 61%
Last 2 games,
from the field.
75% from the field, 62.5% from 3. If I take it to the full series, he's shooting 63% from the field, 48% from 3.
That's just stupid.
That just might as well not have anybody guard him.
Yeah, I mean, that's just dumb. I mean, and you guys are watching the same. I mean, these are not just all open looks. Like I saw this whole montage the other day saying, look at Kawhi's shot attempts, that he's hitting in this series. I mean, there's possessions that Dorian and Maxey are hanging all over him, and he's just hitting them. And this is what great players do. I mean, this is why the Clippers were favored in the series and everything. It's like Kawhi is just that good, and he's been that good this series.
Let's play a little mini game. Something or nothing. Marcus Morris, on average, his plus minus is a minus 7.8 for the series so far. Nick Batum is a plus 11.8 on average. Is that something or nothing? That's so weird to me.
Yeah, that's weird. Batum, man, he just plays that sneaky vet type of role. I mean, when we talk about how many times have we talked about in this pod saying, man, I can't wait till this team reaches to point to where they have like vets like that. That's been there, done. Like it's been in the league for a while that they can play in some of these minutes. And not saying Batum would be the answer for everything for Dallas, but look at all the little things Batum's doing. And when he said that quote the other day of I'm trying to be like the Draymond Green type for this team, he's trying to play that similar role. Right. It's like every really good team is looking for a player that's willing to play that role.
Nick Batum, Iguodala, Jay Crowder, right?
Like he said Boris Diaw too. And it's like
Boris Diaw is a good one.
Yeah, those type of guys.
There's every team that's ever won a title has had guys like that.
Yeah.
I guess Dwight Howard would be the one for the Lakers last year.
Yeah, I guess so.
It's a different position, obviously, but it's just that kind of a guy, a veteran.
Yeah, it can be a different position. It can be a guard. It doesn't have to be like that specific.
Who was that for the Mavs in 11? Like Deshaun is not really like that because he was more of a wild card.
Yeah, I mean,
Marion was a little like overqualified for that role. Jason Kidd is probly the answer, but he was a little overqualified for that role too.
True. My initial thought went to Sean Marion, but he's a little bit, he's overqualified for that. But even like Kidd, no way. But
well, and here we go. This is why the Mavericks won the title that year. It's because they had all these guys. The Mavericks, this Mavericks team in 2021, they need another reliable guy, and Nick Batum has turned into that. The Batum Battalion has proven correct, and he's another reliable guy that they can turn to. And the Mavericks are running out of reliable guys, which we thought the Clippers were. Right? They stopped playing Beverly. Ibaka was hurt, and he didn't play anymore. Zubats isn't getting any more minutes. They're like, oh dang, we're running out of guys. Now the Mavericks are running out of guys.
Yeah. Yeah. This last one I want to throw out there is Shin, who says change defenders on Kawhi, try to make him uncomfortable. If Luka is fit, he's better one-on-one defender than Maxey.
Put Luka on Kawhi?
Yeah.
I mean, Luka has switched on to Kawhi a couple times. and he's trying to make his life difficult.
I'm not opposed to it like late in like fourth quarter stuff. I'm just, you don't want Luka doing that for the whole game.
It's like for a couple possessions.
Yeah, a couple possessions. I will just say this. I like somebody, put at another reply is like, just send double teams at Kawhi. I think that's the thing that some of us want is just to change up some things sometimes. Like throw a zone out there a little bit, bring a double team. Kawhi comes then a delayed trap, bring stuff like that. But in order to do some of that stuff, you got to be able to be mobile. You got to be able to move around and challenge the shooters because they've been hitting. And they're the best three-point shooting team in the league. Number 1 in the league, 41%. Dallas is 18th in the league in three-point percentage. So you got to be able to rotate when you're facing the best three-point shooting team in the league.
And there's one player on the Mavericks that cannot rotate or switch.
Melly hasn't been playing.
I mean, it just is what it is at this point.
That's the biggest conversation. I mean, not to bring it full circle. This is what it's a 3-game series. Starts in game 5 here.
Yep.
Rick Carlisle has a massive, massive decision to make. And
if you don't believe in momentum, then it's starting right now, right? Like series starts completely over.
And I'm so anxious to see how Rick adjusts tonight. I'm anxious to see what happens with KP. If he's not moving well out there, does he play the entire fourth? I expect him to start. Like anybody who's saying like, hey, KP shouldn't even play at all, or he shouldn't start it. No, that's just never going to happen. Like he's going to start. Like that's just not happening. I'm looking fourth quarter. It's a closer game. How much is KP playing? And
we've seen this in the regular season that KP has not necessarily closed every game.
Yeah. And that's what I'll be really curious to see if it's a close game, tie game, 5-point game in the fourth, and it's KP's normal rotation, and he's gonna come in to finish the game. Does he come back in? And I'm fascinated to see how Rick handles that because there's just so much stuff to play that goes into that.
We will cover it all on our post game on game day. Game 5, come back here, subscribe on YouTube, listen on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Play, all those apps. Guys, thanks so much for listening to Locked On Mavs.
Peace out.
Boom.